If the audio's crap, you're screwed. So here's a few tips to improve that audio. Number 1. Check your equipment. So many times I've done this. I've recorded a really good video. I really like it. I'm 6-7 minutes into the raw footage, and then you look back afterwards and the microphone was off, and now you're having to deal with the tinny in audio that is the camera, or it's crackling or it's in and out. I've had a couple of clients send me footage where 1 minute the volume's really loud and then really low, and I have to try and edit it in post. And let's be honest, although you can try and salvage it, if there's bad audio, you're in for a bad experience. So check the audio, whatever you are recording it on, whether it's a webcam, whether it happens to be a microphone, whether it's a phone, whether anything, right? Do a dummy shot. 5-10 seconds. What I do at the start of all of my recording sessions, press record. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. I'll be honest, I forgot to do it this time, so I'm hoping this comes out okay. 10 seconds of your time counting at a camera can save you many hours of pain. Because let's say that was the only chance you could get to record that video. Say you've got a guest, and then all of a sudden you've done an interview and there's no audio. You can't do anything with that. You can't even write text over it. It's ruined. Or you've got a deadline, you recorded 20 minutes worth of footage. The last 5 minutes you was in front of a, I don't know, waterfall, right? And you want to do something brilliant. If you check the audio, then you know what your problem happens to be. You could then overdub it if required, or re-record it. I mean, you can watch it on the go if you're lucky enough with a DSLR camera, but generally check it. Your microphone might be broken, something might be unplugged, your 3-year-old might have been playing with your camera and just changed some of the set. Just check your camera, check your settings, and then, you know, you won't be disappointed after all of your hard work when you put the file in. Open it up and you can't hear a thing. Number 2, move closer to the microphone. Like in this case, I've got myself pretty well set up. I know where my camera is, I know where my microphone is, and I know the distance I should be, but I know if I move a little closer, I can either talk a little softly, so say for example I'm changing the mood, or, you know, it's right there. And if you don't have a powerful mic like I do, then it solves the problem. Also, how many times have you seen it where someone's recorded some footage? It could be something great. Maybe even it's a speech, right, on stage, and because they're so far away, they have that empty room noise. It's either echoey or it's too distant and you have to adjust it. If it's a speech that you really want to see, then fine, but at the end of the day you'd prefer a much cleaner, crisper audio. Just because your camera is here doesn't mean that your microphone can't be here. So you can always use like a lapel mic, for example, or you can have a boom mic that's kind of just here, or you can have one of those stands. The camera doesn't have to be anywhere near you. Some of the most fantastic shots I've ever seen is people flying away with a drone and they've still got a lapel mic and you can hear them. Imagine if the microphone was on the drone. Useless. 3, talk louder. Now, this is simple. It's the thing that you can control. You just modulate your voice and talk a bit louder, project a bit more. If you're in an environment where you can do so, or if you're surrounded by people around you in a public space or behind a waterfall, in those kind of instances, if you talk louder, if it's too loud with the footage, then you can always modulate it down. It is much harder to make a soft noise louder than a loud noise softer. Also, it gives you a little bit to play with. So let's say you are on the opposite side of the room. If you speak louder, then the microphone doesn't need to be as close to you, right? Don't make that mistake that you put it right there and then it's gonna muffle it. Decide. Are you either going to talk louder or move closer or somewhere in the middle? 4, reduce the echo. Now, you may notice in some people's videos, they'll be sat there, they seem to have it framed, they seem to be lit okay, right? They seem to be talking clear, but there's an echo around them. So you can hear them perfectly, but you don't understand why you can hear the rest of the room. More than likely, they're in an empty room or quite an open room. The problem with that is there's nothing in the room to soak the sound waves back, so they bounce off the walls and come back to you. Do you remember when you was at school and you walked into the school hall, it was just you, it's a massive room, right, and your voice always echoed? Oh, it was brilliant, you could say anything you wanted, and you did, you know, just for shits and giggles. Even the smallest whisper at the back of the stage could carry across the room. The problem with that is that if you are now recording in a completely empty room, if I was only in the corner of a warehouse, you'd hear all of the warehouse as my voice bounces off the wall. That's why in some gamer situations you see that little black egg box stuff on the background. So what that does is when your voice hits it, it scatters the voice entirely, it muffles it, it doesn't bounce back to the microphone that it's trying to record from. So how can you solve this without spending loads and loads of money? Anything. Hang clothes, put up blankets, muffle things around it, focus in on the microphone itself, you know, enclose the microphone around so it's only pointing at you. If you can do that. In my case, I'm in a staged office, so I've got full control. If you happen to be in a warehouse or you're doing a school project, put up some blinds of some kind. That way it kind of encloses the noise around you. It doesn't encourage it to travel too far away from you. Loads of things that can suck up the noise. Also, remember what you're recording on. Right? If you're sat there with a flat table and flat walls and flat corner, all of those flatness will cause a problem. The table, maybe put a towel on it, maybe hang some t-shirts in front of you, anything to break the sound waves. And then the echo should be reduced. Depending on the size of the room, it won't be entirely gone, but then you've got less of the problem. 5. Can you afford to upgrade the microphone? I understand that you may have gone out your way to spend 400-500 quid on a camera, or you're a student and all you've got is your webcam, right? I get that. But nowadays, microphone and technologies is quite cheap. When I first started on YouTube, I started recording with a little webcam, 720 HD cam from Microsoft. It was a life cam, it was okay-ish, and then I upscaled things. I then upgraded my own webcam to a Logitech C920, but the microphone on it was a bit meh. So what I did is I used the other webcam as a microphone, and I moved it closer to my mouth, and then the webcam was here and the microphone was there, and everything was fine because it's kind of, you know, effectively a lapel mic. That was an upgrade for an upgrade, and the other one became like a free microphone. Or yeah, you can use something like the Boya BY-M1 or MM1, there's a link down in the description below, or any lapel mics for that reason. You can get lapel mics for as little as 10 bucks, 10 quid. They clip onto you, they are right here. That way the sound doesn't have to travel far. All you have to do is make sure that the clothes aren't rustling around it, and it gives you such a better way of controlling your sound. Alternatively, I have right here a Video Mic Go from Rode, right, which is plugged in on the top of my camera. It's a shotgun microphone. I have a Boya BY-MM1 shotgun thing over there as well. Or if you're on a desktop, a PC or a gamer, you can either get a headphone with a microphone, or you can get a microphone that just sits on your desk. Once again, move it as close to your face as you can without it causing any pop issues. And then yeah, if you're going to spend any money anywhere, go for your microphone first, because people are going to worry about their ears bleeding before they worry about having to, you know, focus on the video a little bit more to see it. 6, your surroundings. Where are you recording your content? Are you out and about? Focus on the noises. Like, if you can hear the buses in the background, if you can hear the school kids talking, if you can hear the waterfall in the distance, they can hear it too on the microphone. You need to adjust for that. So in one of my recent vlogs, I was walking along the canal, I was spouting out some wonderful tips, and I wanted to end the video on a look around yourself, focus on the things that you are doing, and here's a beautiful waterfall, blah 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 blah. I pointed my camera at the waterfall, I forgot that the microphone was pointed at the waterfall, I didn't talk any louder, so my voice is either lower or around about the same sound as the waterfall, and it kind of mushed into one. Luckily enough, I was able to deal with it, but if you remembered that and you know it's coming up, or that's what you're planning for, either adjust and point the microphone at you, or remember that and deal with it in post-production. Once again, you could always talk too loud and edit it out, because if the waterfall was this loud and I'm this loud, or I'm this loud, I can always bring it down and it levels itself out. But then you need to focus on how shaky your camera is, and you need to watch this video here. That will help you. Go out there, start creating.